Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our coaching, publishing, executive ghostwriting, and podcast production services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Hello, I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. Today, we're being joined by Gloria Rand, who is currently writing her first book called Love Your Life Now, 4 Steps to Peace, Joy, and Abundance. Gloria, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Are you ready to get started?
I am ready to get started. Let's do it.
All right. Question number 1. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author like yourself who is currently writing their book?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I would say is to be open to things changing. and to realize that where you start at the beginning may not be where you end up, because that has been the case with how this book has already evolved from where I first started with it. The title has changed several times, and I've sort of changed a little bit about how I want to go about it. And at first it was sort of I think I was frustrating myself more than anything else, and thinking, maybe I'm just making this worse and just stressing out about it. But I'm realizing that, no, there's a reason, things happen for a reason. And even though I haven't been able to get as far as I wanted by now, everything that has happened, I've been going through working with different people and coaches and sort of helping me to get more clear on my message. But now I really am ready to write it, where I don't think I would have done as good a job if I had tried to do it even a year ago. So just to be open to things are going to happen, and life is going to get in the way sometimes, but to just, if you're really passionate about it, just keep going, and things, you'll get there.
And what do you feel is the hardest part so far about getting published?
I think probably just getting the book written before it can even get published, I think, is still it, because like I said, I'm still in the process, and I'm trying to figure out, do I just kind of dive in and write free form and then put it into some sort of semblance of chapters, or do I just go with, originally I had set up sort of an outline, and it's like, okay, maybe I just go into that. So I think it's I think once you can get the writing part done, then there's lots of resources out there to help people, including yourself, because I know that you help authors. So to be able to help them get published, I think it's really, you've got to get the book done first, and then you can start getting help with the actual publishing part of it.
Well, one thing I would recommend is you always want to focus on your main talking point. So if you already have your outline done, that's great. The one thing that I recommend, and this is what I do a little differently with my clients, even with my own books, is I won't always do the book chronologically. So I'll have the outline done, and I'll have the different talking points that we want to cover. However, if I am looking for inspiration, what I will do is I will find the one talking point, the one chapter in that outline that I'm the most excited about, and then I'll cover that one specifically, and then I'll go to the next one from there. So you don't necessarily need to do it in a specific order, but what I recommend, especially to help with the writing process, is if you want to write about the one chapter that you're the most excited about, that's definitely what I would recommend considering doing, at least to get the ball rolling, to get started, and to get that creative process going.
Yeah, I think that's excellent advice, because I think that was where I was getting stuck, where I was just trying to go back, go to the beginning. Because, well, here, just to give you some context, I actually had entered a contest that Hay House was doing last year, where you would, submit this book proposal to get a chance to be able to get a publishing contract from them. So I procrastinated until the last possible minute, and then finally got the proposal done. But part of the process was having to write one chapter. And So that was a good it was a good practice for me, and because I did take like a chapter in the middle, that rather than something at the beginning, and that was helpful. And I think even now, I think I'm still going to go back in. I think I'm going to take your advice and just pick some other part that really appeals to me more, and then I'll be able to go back in and pull it all together. So yeah, I appreciate that advice. That's good.
Well, and you have a big edge. You have a flight coming up. We were talking about this prior to the show, where you're going to be flying to Europe. I know you mentioned that you were wanting to work on your book during the flight, and that is one of the best places to get your book done is on a long haul flight. And I believe it was Hungary, if I'm not mistaken. So that's probably a good 8 to 10 hour plus flight.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, because I think we're flying to Sweden or Norway actually first,
Mm-hmm.
or Sweden possibly, I forget, and then connecting. So yeah, it's going to be a long flight from Florida where I live. So yeah, I'm looking forward to spending some quality time and getting these thoughts out of my head and getting them down on paper finally.
You will get it done. And I'll tell you, doing those long flights, it really is one of the best opportunities to get your book out there. I've done that for several of my books. I always recommend it to my clients too. If they have long haul flights, it really is a great opportunity just to get focused and get really clear where you want to go with your book.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about marketing. So please share a marketing strategy that you are planning to use in your book launch that you feel is going to work well.
Well, I think the one thing that I'm going to do, and I'm stealing this idea from another author that I have followed for years who launched his book, was that he actually, I think one of the things he did, this was Mike McCallowitz. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He wrote The Toilet Paper Entrepreneur and Profit First. And so what he did is he sent out a request to people on his email list looking for a few people who would be willing to edit the book. And then so I volunteered and I got to read the whole book for free and made some notes and commented. And then he offered like some deals for people, like if they ordered so many books, they would get some different perks and sort of like what they do on crowdfunding sites and things like that. But then just really reaching out to people that he knows to be able to get them to then even read the book. Because I know I've participated in a couple different anthologies where we had to, I was one of 20 authors or something. Book. Post it on social media and send emails out to family and friends and asking them to buy the book when it launches on Amazon. So I think between those two things, I think those are going to be the things that I'm planning on for now at the moment until I get some better ideas that I think will help me to get the ball rolling and get some people out there to be able to read the book and buy the book and then hopefully get some reviews as well.
Well, let's talk about your favorite book. So what is your favorite book and what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
This is a really hard question because I am an avid book reader, and it's like trying to pick my favorite book is like trying to pick my favorite child. So I've been like going through my bookcase and trying to figure out. I'm standing right next to it actually, and like looking. Because I read a lot of different business books because that's what I do primarily for my business. I do online marketing for clients, but I've also been reading a lot of personal development books and spirituality books lately. So, I think one of the ones that has stuck with me recently was probably a book called Radical Forgiveness, because I really found it useful. It's about how to be able to forgive others and even to forgive yourself in order that you can live a more happier and stress-free life. So, and I'm not even sure what's the one thing I learned from it, but I guess it really is the importance of, I guess it is to really concentrate even just, if forgiveness is not about what the other person has done, it's really about how it's all about you. Mm-hmm. And when you can forgive them, it frees up your energies and frees up your it lifts a load off of your head, I guess, the stress and things, because it doesn't really matter whether they even know it, but for you to be able to let that go is just so important. So yeah, I guess that's probably about the one that has stuck with me the most over in recent months.
It reminds me of Mahatma Gandhi's, he has several quotes out. We're talking about forgiveness is, when you forgive someone, that is an attribute of the strong, and you're forgiving them for you, not for them. And I think when more people realize that, it really is a paradigm shift, because you're doing it for you. You're not doing it for them. And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, for our final quote, what is your favorite quote and why?
One of my favorite quotes is, I believe it's the time will never be just right, and that and I'm missing part of it, but I think it's don't wait. That's what it is. Don't wait. The time will never be just right. And I believe it's by Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, and I really like that one because it really is about taking advantage of opportunities. Because if you wait and wait and wait for that time, to be right, things happen. Things always happen. Something else may come along that's going to prevent you from doing what you want to do, or circumstances change, whatever. But if you really want to do something like writing a book, for instance, you need to make the time for it. If this is something that's really, a burning desire of yours, don't wait, because especially, the inspiration may even leave and you get sidetracked with something else, and then you kind of come back and you're like, oh, what was I going to do? And now it's kind of disappeared. So take advantage of opportunities. Don't wait. That's definitely my philosophy, I guess you could say.
Well, and I love that you shared that quote, because that happened with me. I put off my first book for 4 years, and believe it or not, on a flight to Las Vegas, I had this epiphany going, I'm not going to hold off on this book any longer. I'm going to get it done. And the next morning, I'm at the Mirage Hotel Casino by the pool, and I outlined that entire book out poolside.
Wow.
A week later, I spent 3 days, 20,000 plus words, got the whole thing out there. But you're right. It's just when you get that inspiration, when you have that epiphany, you've got to go through that door. When that door opens, you have got to go through it, because done is better than perfect. You can always adjust it down the line. Just get your content out there and share it with the world, because as Robert Kiyosaki said, everyone is an expert, and I truly believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, and I like the part of it. Yes, that's what I've also come to realize, is that I will update this. I know I will update it again. So it's like, I just want to get it out there now and do the best I can, and just know that, yes, maybe a year from now I'll learn more and I will have to go back in and revise it. But that's what, authors do all the time. So why not? If it's good enough for, any of the other well-known published authors, it's certainly good enough for me.
Yeah. And two mantras that I always teach my clients is, one, done is better than perfect. And two, don't be afraid to take the plunge. Just get it out there and share it with the world. Yeah,
absolutely. I love it.
Gloria, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. What is the best way for people to find you online?
The best way would probably be to go to my website, which is pretty easy to find. It is GloriaRand.com. So it's GloriaRand.com. And of course, you can also find me on all over social media as well. You search for Gloria Rand on Facebook or whatever. But my home base is my website.
Gloria, thank you once again for being on the show, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how you can be featured in our brand new Get Published business book, go to getpublishedpodcast.com.